Hello and welcome back to my channel. First, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year. I hope 2026 will be a wonderful year for you all. Recently, one of my viewers requested a tutorial on how to add embroidery details to organza fabric. In this video, I'll be showing you how I created this organza jacket featuring embroidered flowers and embroidered cutout eyelets. Please note that this tutorial was recorded before the latest Clo 3D update, which is why the interface may look different if you're new to Clo 3D. So, let's get started. First, I'll begin by creating the jacket pattern. If you're an experienced pattern maker, you can draft the pattern from scratch. However, to simplify the process, especially for beginners, you can start with one of the basic blocks from the modular library and customize it to suit your design. You may also find a similar base pattern in the clo-set Connect store. For this tutorial, I'm using the button front female blouse from the modular library as my base block and then modifying it to create the jacket design. Depending on your design and personal preference, you could also use a t-shirt pattern as a base bodice. For this jacket, I prefer a more fitted, tailored sleeve, so a blouse pattern is closer to the look I'm aiming for. Once the blouse pattern is uploaded, I begin removing unnecessary points and lines, merging seams as needed until I have a clean, basic block. From there, I adjust the shape, length, and width to develop the jacket silhouette. After completing the jacket pattern, I assign a fabric to it. For this design, I'm using Clo 3D preset silk organza material. Since the sleeves are symmetrical, I only need to create one side and then use the symmetric pattern with sewing function to duplicate the opposite side. To add visual interest, I added leather trims around the bodice and sleeves, and I also created a collar to complete the design. Now that the jacket is complete, I can start adding the embroidery design to the fabric. There are many ways to source embroidery designs. For this demonstration, I generated a floral embroidery pattern using Leonardo AI. Here is the prompt I used to create this design. I've covered how to use Leonardo AI in my previous tutorial. If you'd like to learn more about that process, feel free to check it out. After downloading the embroidery design, I used Photoshop to remove the background. Once that was done, I saved the file as a PNG, and it's ready to use. Back in Clo 3D, in the 2D window, I used the graphic tool to import the embroidery file onto the pattern piece. Then, with the transform graphic tool, I adjusted the size, rotation, and position to fit the design properly. If you're working with a symmetrical pattern, once the graphic is placed on one side, you can simply right-click and choose Duplicate to Symmetric Pattern to generate the graphic on the opposite side. In this case, the pattern pieces were not created with Symmetrical tool, so I used Copy and Paste to manually place the graphic on the other side. Once the graphics were in place, the next step was to add normal and displacement maps to create depth and make the embroidery look more realistic. Select Graphic and go to the Property Editor. Under Normal Map, click the Auto Generator, and Clo will automatically create the normal map. Repeat the same steps to generate the displacement map. Make sure to adjust the amount for displacement map. Open the render window to preview the embroidery design and fine-tuned the displacement amount as needed. The results looked great, so I applied additional floral embroidery to the back bodice and sleeves to complete the overall design. One thing I'd like to mention when applying embroidery to a sheer material is that the embroidery is usually visible on both sides of the fabric. To achieve this effect, use the Transform Graphic tool to select the graphic, then go to the Property Editor. Under Graphic Configuration, choose both faces. Once selected, the embroidery graphic will be displayed on both sides of the fabric. Now that I've finished applying all the embroidery details on the jacket, the next step is to add an embroidered cutout, also known as an embroidered eyelet. I start by using the internal polygon tool to create style lines that define where the cutouts will be placed. Once the style lines are set, I apply a diagonal top stitching that I downloaded for free from the clo-set Connect website. If you're new to top stitching function in Clo 3D, the process is quite simple. After downloading the top stitching file, just add it to your browser window. Then, select the top stitch tool from the 2D window toolbar and choose either segment top stitch or free top stitch to apply it along the internal lines. If you'd like to learn more about top stitching, I recommend checking out my previous tutorial on creating sequins, embroidery, and beaded trims. When applying top stitching, you can customize it in the Property Editor by adjusting the thread width, spacing, thickness, material type, and color to match your design. After finishing all the style lines, I move on to creating the cutout design. Using the internal ellipse tool, I draw a small circle between the two style lines. I then clean up the shape by removing unnecessary points. Simply select the points, right-click, and choose Convert to Curve Point. This ensures you have one continuous top stitching line without any breaks. Next, right-click on the internal circle and select Convert to Whole to create the cutout. To add an embroidered look around the cutout, I apply a preset bar tack top stitching from Clo 3D. You can adjust the width, spacing, and thickness in the Property Editor, along with other stitch settings available after application. Because this is a circular shape, you may notice that the top stitching initially breaks into multiple sections. To fix this, simply turn on the curve function in Property Editor, which will give you a smooth, continuous top stitching line. Once one embroidered cutout is complete, you can easily copy and paste it to create additional duplicates across the design. If you look closely at the circular cutout on the jacket, you'll notice that it doesn't appear perfectly round at this stage. That's because I haven't lowered the particle distance yet. To show the difference, here's how the cutout changes as I gradually reduce the pattern's particle distance from 20 to 15, then 10, 5, and finally down to 1. In most cases, you don't want to set the particle distance to 1 unless your computer can handle it, as it requires significantly more processing power. Especially while you're still working on the garment, Lowering the particle distance too much can slow down your workflow. What I usually do is keep the particle distance around 15 or 10 until the pattern and all the details are finished. Once that's done and I've switched avatar pose for render image and then lower the particle distance to 5 or below to achieve a cleaner and more refined render result. You can also apply normal and displacement maps to the top stitching to add depth, giving the stitches more height and a more realistic appearance. And here is the final look of the organza embroidered jacket. From start to finish, it took me about 1 hour to complete this jacket. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you found it helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see in future tutorials. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.